Teofimo Lopez, a masterclass in boxing IQ. So Teo has some great innovative offensive and defensive moves in boxing. Teo is a very innovative boxer. So let's analyze this great champion and try to understand his boxing philosophy. So Teo feints, then feints again. This draws a feint from his opponent. Then Teo does another feint, then does a double jab to the body, and then a right hand to the head. This right hand is thrown through the target and is a powerful shot. It's important to remember that feints are such an important weapon for elite boxers. Teo shoots a jab, his opponent avoids the jab and throws 3 counter punches. They all miss, which shows Teo's reflexes. Now reflexes are such an important part of boxing. His opponent now shoots a jab to the chest, followed by a straight right. Teo is in a Philly shell, dips to his left, and lands a left hook to the body. This was a lovely body shot from Teo. So there is an exchange of jabs, and then his opponent throws a right hand. Teo catches the right hand with his right hand and throws a right uppercut counter, and then dips to his left, presenting a minimal target. Once he dipped to his left, he is now southpaw, and then he reverts back to the orthodox in one step. This is a hard man to hit because Teo is so unconventional. Teo then does a triple tap with his left hand and throws a right hand over his front foot. As he is over his front foot, he weaves under the left hook and steps back from the straight right. He then moves out of range where he is safe. So Teo crosses his arms, feints with the right hand and then dips to his left. As he dips to his left, he pushes out his right hand and then throws a left hook to the body and a jab to the head. The right hand is used as a distraction. Now this is intelligent boxing. This is innovative boxing. Teo feints, throws a jab straight right, and instantly catches a left hook counter with his right glove. As he catches the counter, he tries to counter with a straight left. The counter punch awareness here is so impressive, and Teo has a very high boxing IQ. You know, Teo is really a great boxer, and when I've watched some of his fights recently, I've noticed that he's a boxer that's full of innovation. And I say that to it kind of surprises myself. Let me explain why. Because I had 2 memories of Teo before this fight, 2 main memories. And that was the following: the fight with Lomachenko and the fight with Kambosos. Let me explain. Now, Lomachenko was seen as an elite fighter, not only by boxing experts, but you know, in the digital boxing universe, there were so many videos of the innovation of Lomachenko, and it was like he was on another level and he was transcending boxing. Seriously, he was seen, you know, as top of the mountain, and rightfully so. He definitely brought a lot to the game. So when he beat Lomachenko, you're looking at Teo and you're thinking, okay, this is that person. You know, when you beat the man that beats the man that makes you the man. So I had this initial impression of, okay, there's an upset here. He's beaten an elite fighter. Let's see the trajectory. Let's see the journey. And then there was the Kambosos fight, and that was the loss, and that was an upset. And then that completely shifted my perspective. And then I started following Kambosos, and then there was the fights with Devin Haney, etc. So it went from, you know, following Lomachenko, then going to Teo, and then going to Kambosos, and then going to Devin Haney. So that kind of shifted my perspective. And I guess there's an important lesson here. And you might be thinking, an important lesson, what's the important lesson? Well, the important lesson is don't just judge someone on their loss. Don't just judge someone on their loss, because in most cases, it won't tell the entire story. I guess to use a metaphor, you need to read all the chapters or the majority of the chapters to get an understanding of the book. Don't just read half a chapter and then think you can define the book. And Teo, when I look at him now and when I look at the boxing in the ring as opposed to his antics outside the ring, I see great boxing innovation. Here is a question. Where did Teo develop this boxing innovation? Was it his dad, who I believe is his trainer? Was it self-taught? Was it the boxing environment? Or was it a combination of all these things? Because it's not traditional. And the nature of innovation is not traditional. It's like, it's something within him. It's a new system, I feel. And it's hard to compare Teo. It's really hard. Some people will say he's like Roy Jones early in his career, or like a Lomachenko, or like an Andre Ward. But obviously there may be some similarities, but you can't pinpoint a fighter and say, yes, he fights like this. So his boxing innovation is so clear because I can't pinpoint a fighter and say, yes, he completely, reflects this type of fighter. He really has an individual that he really has an identity, which is completely individual. So let's talk about resumes. And I always think resumes are important because when we look at someone's resume, we can get an impression on who they are. It's like, when you're, if you're a boss or a director or a manager and you're looking for a candidate, you're looking to fulfill a job role, you go through people's CVs, and the CV doesn't define them in their entirety, but it paints a picture of who they are. It gives you a solid impression of who they are, assuming that everything on the CV is true. So when we look at the resume, the CV of Teo, what do we see? Well, in December the 14th, 2019, he won the IBF title. The context with regards to weight was 135 pounds. And in October the 17th, 2020, he won the WBO, WBA, and WBC against the great Lomachenko. And then on June the 10th, 2023, he won the WBO title against Josh Taylor. The context here, the weight context, was 140 pounds. What does this mean? It means he's a 2-division world champion, a great fighter, a strong resume, a strong CV. And of course, there are opportunities to get even bigger. I guess the path to greatness is receiving an opportunity, but also taking it with both hands. And I feel like from my perspective, I didn't understand the boxing genius, the boxing innovation of Teo. But now that I'm looking at him from a closer perspective, I see something great. I definitely do. And like I said, Teo has a high boxing IQ and high boxing innovation. So that's it from me. I'm trying to build a digital boxing community, and I'm interested in your insights, your questions, and your observations. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you want to support, like, and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos, click either here or click here. Thank you for your time. Peace.